Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another Crafty Simulations video, and we are rocking along today with another Piper aircraft. Today we have Carenado's Piper PA-34T Seneca 5. So, hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, if you watched the previous video, we started off with Piper's basic aircraft, the Tomahawk from Just Flight. Now, this is a little bit more advanced. This is a twin-engine Seneca 5 and has been sat on my channel, on my inventory of aircraft of to-do videos for a long time. So I have been covering, in previous videos even, Carenado's vast list of aircraft. And like I said, I go through these. There's no particular order to them. I get them and I do a video of them. I fly with them. I like Carenado. I don't see what the hassle is with Carenado. I do like them. And this aircraft was sat. I get them onto my hard drive, and I may have a few flights with them before I end up doing a video with them. And they'll either stay on my sim or they'll just go into storage. This aircraft, the Seneca 5, has been sitting on my sim for a long time. I don't know why I didn't do the video for it. I was scheduled to do the video for it a few weeks ago, and I don't know, something just caught up with me and I just didn't do it. So here I am, finally back with another Piper aircraft. Now, I said in the previous video, I've got 3 videos to complete for you guys today. I'm going to record them today, as of this video being recorded now. And for you guys, there'll be no difference. They'll be scheduled to release at the same time as they normally would. But they're all Piper aircraft. I just noticed this when I sat in this aircraft. I thought, hang on a minute, this is a Piper aircraft. Hey, awesome. So we've gone around Carenado aircraft before, and they do look pretty darn good. I mean, we're not talking Just Flight's class of general aviation aircraft, but from where I see, they look absolutely good. Great reflections. All the bits and pieces look correct. It is a fantastic aircraft. Now, Carenado do get a bit of a whack in the old sim. And people say the aircraft are not realistic, they don't handle correctly, and they don't look good, and they don't sound good, and they don't do this, they don't do that, yada yada yada. On the sounds front, I think they actually do sound realistic to the aircraft they are portraying. They may not be using correct sounds recorded directly even from the correct aircraft. They may not. There may be some trickery going on, but their sounds are believable, and for me that is important. Obviously, I can't make this sound like a Harrier jump jet, for instance. That would be completely unrealistic, but to this aircraft it does sound like a twin-engine Piper Seneca 5. Can't knock that. On the looks front, it looks absolutely awesome. On the handling front, how would I know what a Piper Seneca 5 handles like? I don't. As long as it doesn't do something stupid, it doesn't try to kill me on the first takeoff run. You know, I've seen aircraft, I've been in flight simulation for years, for decades. And I mean, like, back to the early days of FS 2004, you know, FS 9, those eras. And before that, actually, weirdly. I think I had FS 95 for crying out loud. That's showing me age. And I can remember some aircraft, and they were payware aircraft, and you got them, and they just handled awful. It didn't work properly, and their handling wasn't good, and the sounds were good, the looks were good, you know, the functionality of the cockpit was good, but the handling was terrible. I can understand that. But Carenado, this is 2020. This is Flight Simulator 2020, and there are aircraft available for 2024 as well, and I think they handle correctly and believable. So, again, it does bug me a little bit, if I'm honest, when Carenado get a bit of a knock. There are better developers out there that will put a lot of effort into their creations. Obviously, I'm looking at A2A, I'm looking at Just Flight in the general aviation market. Carenado, I don't think are actually that far behind Just Flight's level. We're not at Carenado, we're not at A2A's level, but I don't think we're far off. So anyway, let's move inside. My rant is over against the anti-Carenado crew. So anyway, here we have a rather more advanced cockpit from what the previous video was. Oh, God blimey. Right, so the previous video we had the Tomahawk, which is about as basic as Piper could make it for their aircraft. This is a twin-engined aircraft for a start, so we have more duplication of engine instrumentation. We have, oh God, it's a GNS 530, isn't it? I can change that. I always say 530. I'm sorry, I don't like the GNS 530. If you like it, you make it work. Brilliant, fantastic. I've seen enough 530s to live for the rest of my life. FSX, FS 2004, this is all you ever got, 530. So I've seen enough of these things, and you know, even these controls, there's a lot of them. Anyway, and we'll start rambling again. So we do have quite a setup of instrumentation, but we can break this down a little bit to make it a little bit easier. So we do have what I would call a six-pack plus for pilot instrumentation. So we do have our airspeed indicator, artificial horizon, altitude, slip indicator, turn and slip, turn coordinator. Yeah. We have an advanced compass, which we use for autopilot. We have a vertical speed indicator, and the plus part is we do have an OBS gauge down here, which I don't use. I don't even know what OBS stands for. I know it's navigation, but I would just rather look out the window. Moving on to the central side of the aircraft, we do have obviously a duplication of instrumentation. Try saying that fast, because we have a duplication of engines. So we do have, what we got here? So we got map, MAP, we got RPM gauge, we got two tits. Oh God, blimey. Obviously, I know temperature. Turbine? Something turbine temperature? I can't remember what it is. It's not what I'm thinking. I don't know what an FCHT is. Fuel flow? It might be fuel flow. Not 100%. Moving down, we have some more T's and P's, multi-gauges, aren't they, on these ones? So yeah, so we've got a duplication on that. We've got a vacuum gauge, and we've got a fuel quantity gauge, or an oxygen system, because this aircraft can be pressurized. Do we have it? Yes, we have lights for the undercarriage. Moving over to the central side of it, again we have the GNS 530. I can change that. I'll make it into something a little bit better. We have the Bendix King weather radar. I think this was, if I remember correctly. Yeah, WX weather radar. I don't know whether this works in the sim. I haven't a clue. And we have the co-pilot set of 6-pack. We have fuse panels here, obviously here, and they do not work. I said this before, and I'll say it again. Fuses do not make the aircraft. Okay, so yes, it's nice if they put it in there. It's not a be all and end all. We then have radio masters, some switches down here for obviously some stuff for electronics and avionics. We have our wing flap indicator. We have another Bendix King doohickey down here for navigation, so ADF and all that. Again, I don't think we use that so much nowadays due to the invention of technology. We have a twin setup throttle gauge, so we have our twin throttles, we have our twin propeller pitch while I'm forward, and we have twin mixture control. So that's brilliant for my honeycomb Bravo. Let's see now what we got down here. So not really much. We've got a trim gauge. We've got our fuel system. We're going to turn that on now because I'm going to forget it. This is what I mentioned before in a previous video. Fuel tank selectors. You jump into the aircraft, you're excited, you want to start it up, you're turning the engine over and it ain't going nowhere, and that's because you haven't selected the fuel tank. So anyway, before we get going, let's show this off again. Pretty much all Carenado aircraft come with a basic EFB, so we do have a few options we can do here. So co-pilot, go away, co-pilot door shut, door controls are fine. We can have the usual static elements, external power. We'll have that on. Do we not have a pilot at the same time? So we can have external power on, but we can't have a pilot. Okie dokie, makes sense. So we'll move on to the next. This is more like it. GTN 750. Don't mind if I do. That is so much better. So we're running the PMS 50 system. We do have also the GTN access, I should say, to the GNX 750XI. I also have this installed. Really, I don't use it, if I'm honest, because the PMS 50 just works for me. Don't know why. The other one's good. And then we have some basic start options for the usual cold and dark cockpit, ready to taxi and ready to take off. So you just click that, click done, boom. Bob's your uncle. If you can't be bothered to start this aircraft up, there's your 3 options to getting it ready to go. Obviously, it's not that difficult. So, where are we today? Well, because it's a twin-engine aircraft, and Wickenby, well, I suppose it probably could take an aircraft like this. I didn't really fancy flying into Wickenby, or more support out of Wickenby. I haven't flown this aircraft that much. So we've come back to Humberside, my main airfield for aircraft that are slightly bigger and require a longer runway, but not yet military. So today's flight, we're going to stay in the local area. We're going to travel a little bit further out than we did in the previous video around Wickenby, but we're going to show off the Seneca 5 even, and hopefully I'm going to win over some supporters for the Carenado group. So, welcome back to the cockpit of the Carenado Seneca 5. So, let's see if we can get this thing up and running, shall we? So, I cannot remember where the heck anything is in this aircraft. Oh yeah, we're talking above us, aren't we? I had this problem when I first stepped into this aircraft. I was like, where's the battery controls? Where's the engine controls? Where's the light controls? Oh yeah, they're up on the roof. Right, so battery master switch can now come on, left alternator come on, right alternator can come on. We'll have the fuel tanks we've already selected on previously, so left tank can come now on. Nav lights can come on. That's the only thing we can have on there. Obviously we don't normally have strobe lights on well on the pan or in the parking area because strobes are quite powerful. Right. And we'll have left mags on. We do the view. Track IR going, so left mixture can come up. Left engine is cracked. Parking brakes are set. So we're clear on the left side, clear on the right side, and clear up front. So we'll have a clear left. Fingers crossed this actually starts up. Going to set that to about 1,000. It's good idling. Pull the mixture back a little bit. And we have a good start. Right, so right fuel tank can now come on, or right fuel pump even I should say can come on. And right mags are on. Clear on the right. Good start. We do have a good start. We'll shut that up before I forget about it. Right, so let's just run through everything because the radio master switch can now come on. I'll turn the avionics on. Just run across here. Still happy with the nav lights. So we only have the pitot heat warning, which is pitot heat. Pitot heat, where are you? And we don't need it because obviously we're flying summer, so we're actually quite fine. Windshield heat, ice heat. Pitot. Hey, we don't need it, but I do like to get rid of the lights. Shows I know what I'm doing. Right, so while that's all running up. Flight plan, Echo Golf November Juliet. Echo Golf November Juliet. So we're coming back into Humberside. That's done. Set back to map. I usually like to have this set to nearest and airport. We'll turn the weather radar system on to actually we'll turn it on to standby. From what I can understand, a weather radar, it used to be a blip on the wing, I think it was. I don't know whether weather radar is based in this aircraft, but the weather radar is quite a powerful radar system and you wouldn't have it running on the ground. anyway until you started pointing towards the runway. Right, so transponder on, even though we are squawking 7,000. And on altitude, that's what we want. That's squawk on 7,000. On altitude, that is correct. So I believe we're all ready to go. Right, so taxi lights can now come on. Strobe lights will do at the runway. Threshold. Flaps coming down to one stage for takeoff. Right, let's go. Which are we taxiing out? Point me to the runway. Bit of differential throttle gets us round. So I did notice in the previous video, which was a Tomahawk, it had great visibility. This aircraft, not so much. If I'm honest, it's quite a squat down aircraft, and you've got a lot of real estate above you in the roof section, so you don't have much visibility above you. Left and right is quite restricted as well for anything that's lower than you. So we're just going to park ourselves up here. Position ourselves like this. Yes, so like I said, we've got two great big honking engine nacelles that are right in front of us, so it does get a little bit hectic, shall we say. So mixture's now coming up to full. Weather radar can now come on to on. I don't know if this functions in the sim, I really don't. Alright, so fuel pumps are selected on, fuel pumps are selected on, tax lights are now off, strobe lights are now coming on. They are on. Landing lights. Actually, we can do a funky thing, we can do the disco. Can we do the disco? We are doing the disco, yeah. Taxi lights are actually now pulsing. Quite realistic. Right, so navigation is set, second screen is set, transponder is set, flaps are down and confirmed as set to approach or takeoff. Everything else is honky-dory, we're ready to go, I think. Famous last words, can't think of anything. So we're making a left-hand departure out of Humberside. Now we do have to keep aware of some obstacles that are right in front of us. It's those big windmill things. Now obviously we will be higher than them, but it is something to keep aware of. The terrain here is a little bit different than our usual stomping ground. So we're clear on approach. And for all those that were asking, it is Flight Hamper's version of Humberside. There will be a link below in the description for the scenery. Nice long enough runway here. So mixtures are set, pops, pitches are set, throttles are set. Instrumentation is a reading correct, T's and P's are correct. Fuel tanks, we are sitting at about half on pair of tanks. Should have really done this beforehand, but we're staying in the local area, so we will set this to 0. Doors are latched on one side. This is one of those Piper aircraft that only have a door on the co-pilot section. So coming off parking brakes, so let's run her up. And let's roll. Full power, 50, there's 60, there's 70, there's 80, gently rotate, and we're airborne. Tap the brakes, gears coming up. Oops. flaps coming up. Up and confirmed on... I should trust this up on that side as well. So definitely a more faster aircraft than the Tomahawk, obviously twin engine for a start. Definitely more advanced. Autopilot coming on, heading hold coming on. Passing 1,000 foot. So there we are, airborne in the Seneca 5. Quite a nice little aircraft. So, right, we'll have fuel pumps can now come off. Landing lights set to off. Nav lights are on and strobe lights are on. That's fine. Got one of those lovely gear warnings. If you pull the throttle back too far, the aircraft detects the undercarriage is retracted and will therefore give you a warning if you was on approach, because obviously you do need your wheels for landing. I just never understand why Carenado gets such a whack on the sim. There are a few of us that still support Carenado really well, but there were a few people that do complain a lot at Carenado's aircraft. Oops. Gotta stop knocking that throttle. So if I remember how to, famous last words, if I remember how to correctly do this. Procedure, approach. 20. is Kim 1. Load and activate. Select nav hold. Right, so what I've done now, amazingly it actually worked, is I am now flying the aircraft, well the aircraft is flying itself actually, on a nav hold arrangement, and we're flying an approach pattern into Humberside Airport. Now this is called Kim 1 according to the GTN 750 here, and basically it's going to follow the magenta line, and we're going to go flying towards the airfield, and then we're going to turn away from the airfield, head out over the Humber, which is somewhere over there, and swing back in for approach into runway 220. That's why I love the GTN 750. It's such a fantastic piece of avionics equipment. Multiple options covering the whole spectrum of the flight. Now don't get me wrong, the GNS 530, it's a fantastic piece of hardware. It's been around for a long time, and it's slowly getting replaced by avionics like the 750 here. But it is steadily getting, like I say, a little bit too old now. The 530 is still fully functioning, and people still rave over it in the sim, and they rave over it in reality as well. The 750 for me is fantastic. Now, I said in a previous video, I do have a G1000 unit sat here with all the buttons and the controls. Now, obviously, this aircraft does not have a G1000, but the 1000 is a great piece of avionics hardware, and the 750 is a great piece of avionics hardware. You can purchase Flight Simulator GTN 750s, plug in as a USB device, and it gives you all the buttons. I mean, there isn't many buttons on one of these things. What you have is a touchscreen arrangement. There's one button there, one button there, a couple of buttons there, and that's about it, and a button there. But you do have the arrangement to basically do all this, but physically do it with a physical unit. Now, I've got the real SimGear G1000 screen. It's great, fantastic. I sort of wish if I had, the unlimited money kind of setup, I would buy the full G1000 setup, the 2 screens and the media system thing in the middle of it, which can be done. It's awfully expensive. But there also is a copy of the GTN 750. Now that I am very interested in. And maybe, one day, maybe I will purchase it. So the aircraft is now swinging out to the right. Humberside Airport is rather annoyingly under our left nacelle. I'm going to head back out over the Humber. So what we have here on the artificial horizon, we have the red flight director, which is showing us what our aircraft is doing in response to our autopilot. So would I say this aircraft is one of the best twin-engine aircraft in the sim? For me personally, obviously the DA42 by Cows is always going to be my go-to twin-engine aircraft. But there is a price difference between the Cows DA42 and the Carenado aircraft. Now, Carenado released their aircraft quite cheap. and yet they still have a fully functioning cockpit. You can change the avionics to whichever unit you want. You can do long distance flying, and this aircraft is designed, it's pressurised, I do believe. At least I think it's pressurised, I'm not 100% whether it is or it isn't. But anyway, it's designed for VFR cruising, which is what we can do. We can do this at high speed. We're doing what, 128 knots? 130 knots? So we are going along quite quickly. Oh, dear me, sorry about that. It is a fantastic aircraft. For the price point, I don't think they can knock them. Alright, so we're going to set up for landing. So we'll have landing lights now can go on. We're not going to have them on pulse. Fuel pumps can now come on. And we'll let the aircraft swing ourselves back round as we head back in towards runway 20 or 20. It's a lovely, sleek aircraft. Definitely a very sleek looking aircraft. So we're about to start our left-hand turn. So as soon as it goes magenta, that'll be the course section we're on, and the flight director here will start swinging over to the left. So there we go, and now we start swinging around. So we're still on an altitude hold. We are only flying the navigation hold instead of the standard heading hold. Navigation hold and heading hold, what are they? Heading hold is quite a, I would say, a dumbed down version. Basically the heading hold will chase this green marking here, which we can change manually. And a navigation hold follows the course that is preset here on your navigational system. So this will bring us round onto a heading for runway 20. Once we get onto the heading, and I'm visual with the runway, there's a bit of haze at the moment out there, but once I'm visual with the runway, I will take over the aircraft. I think I've just got the runway up ahead of me, just there, in the haze. So I'll try and keep an eye on it, so we're visual with it. There we are, onto the last leg. Aircraft stable. Autopilot off, fly director off. Trouble with these aircraft, they're quite fast, so we are descending our speed a little bit. Gear coming down. Gear down, 3 green. So final checks, landing lights are on, fuel pumps are on both left and right. We'll start our descent into Humberside. Flaps down 2 stage. Now's the time to concentrate. So, final checks, gear is down 3 green and locked. Landing lights are on, fuel pumps are on. Flaps down 2 stage. Threshold. Not a bad landing considering it's one of my first times. Now, due to the rather unique way Humberside is, we don't actually have a taxiway to go onto, so we do have to backtrack up the runway. So I will cut this part of the video out, and you will see me back at the parking position for my final thoughts on Carenado Seneca 5. So, just on the taxiway, so landing lights can now come off, taxi lights can now come on, strobe lights are off, fuel pumps are off, flaps are retracting. I do believe we parked over there, yes we did. Sea dispersal? great set. Text lights are off, strobe lights are off, nav lights are still confirmed as on, that's correct. And we are off. Right, so now I can have nav lights can come off, mags all off, left alternator, right mags all off, main batteries now coming off. Let flight simulator catch up. So as the aircraft ticks itself cooling down, my final thoughts on the Carenado Seneca 5. Actually, it's a very, very good aircraft. I can't knock Carenado's choice of aircraft. They do create a lot of general aviation aircraft, from the basic general aviations, the little Cessnas, the little Pipers, to aircraft like this, which are mile munchers, as I'd call them. You can cruise across countries with these aircraft. High speed, low power settings, get a bit of altitude behind you, and yes, you could cruise quite happily over to Europe on this aircraft. No issue with that whatsoever. Sounds are very, very good. Handling is a bit twitchy on approach. Again, I would expect that because you're starting to bring the power settings down. Aircraft become more twitchy. The closer to the ground you get ground turbulence, all that kind of stuff, effects on the aircraft. And we do have turbulence in the sim, which I do believe I've got turned on to realistic. And yes, you will get a little bit of a twitchy workout on your approach if you don't get your speeds correct. And obviously this is something you build up in time and learn how this aircraft handles at the low down altitudes. It is a good looking aircraft. From whichever way you look at it, I mean, there was a lot of Piper in this aircraft. I know it's Piper. Piper released this aircraft. But you can tell by the wings, this is a Piper aircraft. They taper up, and they're very long, and they're very rectangular, and it's a Piper aircraft. You just know, you look at this aircraft and go, that's a Piper aircraft. And it is another beauty by Carenado. The fact that you can change your avionics out is a brilliant thing. The fact that it sounds good, I would say 80% to 90% of the cockpit is functional. You know, the fuse panels still don't work. That's not the be all and end all. But everything else that you need, everything you reach out and touch in a real aircraft for real flights across the takeoff, the flight, and the landing, and the taxiing in and out profiles are fully accessible in this aircraft. So I think it's fantastic, and the price point is actually really, really good. It's not a ridiculously expensive aircraft. So again, this gets another pass from me. It's a very, very good aircraft. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Carenado, it's brilliant. And like I say, Carenado do offer a lot of varied aircraft, and I'm covering them slowly on this channel. So if you've got any questions or comments about this aircraft, or have any experiences of this aircraft, if you've got this in your sim, do you think it's a good aircraft? Do you think it's a bad aircraft? If it's bad, why? Because we do love talking here on this sim. I will drop a link in the description for this aircraft if you want to purchase it from Carenado themselves. I think it's available on the marketplace. I'm not 100% on that. I don't tend to go onto marketplace. I purchase my aircraft from the developers themselves. The scenery used was Flight Tamper's Humberside. I'll drop a link in the description for that as well. So hopefully I will see you guys and girls in a future Microsoft Flight Simulator video very, very soon.